mind-controlled slaves are real. This is a short video that I have been wanting to put out for a long time. Many people are aware of MKUltra, what it is and what it is used for. There are many videos out there that show how celebrities and people in the public eye become mind-controlled slaves, and also a few well-known females broke their programming and then their silence to expose what happened to them as mind-controlled slaves. There are still people who are sleeping and refuse to believe it exists. Indeed, the things that I have learned and researched concerning MKUltra are horrendous and traumatic for the victims. The horrors of programming from birth in most cases is something non-victims could never fathom. The reason for this video short is to tell a real story. I don't know specific details of everything and I don't wish to. However, I can say that I became friends with a female a number of years ago. I was using a well-known social media platform to talk to people who were going through the same illness as myself. One day I received a message from the girl. It was very off the wall. It was describing the place and city where they were staying and the weather. There was no introductions, just this message. I don't recall what my reply was, but I did respond, and from then on we began exchanging the odd message. As we began to talk about our illness etc., we became friends, and it was nice to have someone to talk to who was suffering the same things every day. It became clear to me early on in our friendship that something was off with her. She was very detached and cold at times, and other times she would be the opposite. One thing that never changed is that she would not tell me her real name because, she said, they were watching her every move and she had to be careful. At the time, I did not push her or pry because A, I am not that type of person, and B, I knew if I did she would clam up. At the time of our friendship, I never had a channel, but I had begun to wake up, but we never talked about anything but our illness and day-to-day lives. She would always want to hear about my life because we live in different countries, and she seemed to love hearing about someone else's life rather than talking about her own. Pretty early on she would mention two of her friends. I don't recall the names, but she did tell me, and from the things that she would say, it seemed that one was bossy and would always tell her what to do, and this person did not like me because I asked too many questions apparently. She would often say out of the blue, XXXX doesn't like me talking to you, and when I would ask why, she would tell me, she didn't trust me and does not like me. At the time I thought maybe her friend was jealous of the fact that we messaged each other all the time. I later came to find out that this was one of her alters, along with another two. I spoke to the bossy one once thinking I was talking to my friend, and it wasn't nice. It both shocked and scared me at the time because of the warning it gave me. It's very hard to explain something that is so complex, but it was a very demonic experience. I realized it was a demonic altar and it tried to scare me, telling me that it could see me and affect me if I did not stay away from my friend. I cannot explain it any better than that. I remember, I did not message my friend for a few days after that, and then I heard from her. It was clear she had no recollection of the conversation, so I told her what had occurred and she said, "Oh, that was XXXX. I asked who she was and she said, "She's been with me since I was a child." I managed to understand in my own mind that she thought of this as a real person who always is there, telling her what to do and seeing that she sticks to the plan. I found out that there were others, but she was the dominant one, and my friend said that she's never told anyone about them, only me. I didn't judge her, I was her friend. The dominant alter would take over when she had to see clients. It would tell her it was her duty and she was getting what she deserved. It would tell her who she could speak to, what to say, and who to stay away from. If she met a boy, the alter would not let her like him. On the occasions when she did like someone, the alter would step in and ruin it and put an end to it going any further because the controller said she could not have boyfriends or grow close to another person. She always referred to her family as the family and the mother and the father. I know she had brothers, but she was the only daughter. Some other things I came to know about her was that she spends her time traveling the world, staying in nice hotels and working. She would not tell me her exact job, but she told me it was in the music industry. Her family are very well off and the father owns one or more companies. The mother set her up with the job and sends her to clients in addition to the day job. This has been going on for years. I came to know her family is well off and well-to-do. The parents set her up with clients and she has to sleep with them. I found out about a man whom she calls the controller. I now know this to be her handler. He was introduced into her life as a small child by the father and the controller would have sex with her and regularly beat her up. I am talking about being punched and kicked, thrown around the room ending up bleeding and bruised. She would tell me often that it was all she was good for and she liked being beaten up. I can see now that she was programmed by this man and mistreated and told me that he was the only one who loved her. Yet she would still say that she hated him and tried to hide from him but that he always found her. She had no self-worth. It was like she was an empty doll doing as she was told and told me numerous times that it is just the way it was. She told me numerous times that she hated men. She always was careful about what things she told me and what she said in messages because she said they were always watching her. So whenever she went quiet and disappeared for weeks I knew she was laying low and being careful. She would go through manic-like episodes, spending lots of money on clothes and going to parties and getting drunk and then punish herself at the gym with ridiculously long workouts. I could tell she enjoyed her day job, the traveling and staying in expensive hotels, but when she had to do the other stuff she reverted back to this indifferent robotic self-loathing person. It is only through my own awakening that everything about her and her life became clear to me. Once I realized she was under MKUltra and that her family was probably a bloodline family, it became harder to maintain the friendship with her. I didn't want to put her in any more danger but I was super concerned about her and I guess I always will be. There was a sadness to her because she was resigned to her life and her fate. She would describe herself as a nothing, a nobody. She would tell me how she deserved everything that had and was happening to her. She would ask me what it was like to be in love because she had no idea what it was to love someone. She only knew love as being beaten up and made to have sex with strangers. I often asked her why didn't she save up so she could run away? I knew she had the best of everything materially and at the time I didn't know of course, that she was trapped. She could not run anywhere because she was kept and imprisoned in a gilded cage. Writing this and reliving parts of our friendship is very hard because of the anger and despair I feel over what she has and is suffering at the hands of her family. I have come to feel, as with everything else I have put into my videos over time, that it's been for a reason I came to know her. To share her story and tell people that yes, MKUltra is real and child abuse is a cruel reality. To show people that not everyone sells their soul and chooses a life such as this. Some people are born into it with no way to escape. It's important for people to know what goes on behind closed doors and what these elite families do to their children. Please keep her and others like her in your prayers that God will make a way out for them out of the hell that they find themselves in through no fault of their own. Thank you.
Fleslet.